Welcome to San Joaquin Spotlight, a public affairs program featuring conversations about life in the central San Joaquin Valley. This program is brought to you in partnership between KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC Fresno. I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. Today, we're going to be talking about teen pregnancy in Fresno County with Kayla Wilson. She's with the Fresno County Office of Education. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is there a big problem with teen pregnancy?
Yes. Fresno County ranks about number 3rd in the state for teen pregnancy.
Number 3rd in the state?
Number 3rd in the state.
And so what are some things that the Office of Education is doing?
We have a teen parent support program that helps support some of our local high schools that are currently offer the child care centers on the high school campus. And then we also realize that there's a special population with our foster youth and our homeless youth that we also support them as well. In addition to that, we run a collaborative that pulls all of the agencies throughout Fresno County that support teen parents. We pull them all together and kind of do a wraparound.
When it comes to high schools and having these centers, what goes on in the center? Question number one. And question number two, is this really needed? I mean, are you finding that these centers on campus are helping?
Absolutely. There is a clear correlation between girls that stay in traditional high schools that take their children to school. Their graduation rates are about 89% compared those to about 60% who go to alternative ed, or some of them don't finish high school at all. And the high school programs are programs that are backed by the CDE, the CDE, and they get to go and they're qualified teachers there. It's early care and education. Most of the teachers that work at these sites have been doing this for 25 years. So the baby gets a safe environment, nutrition. The babies that are enrolled in this program, 95% of the children enrolled in what we call CalSafe or PACE schools, child care centers, are up to date with their immunizations compared to of 80% on the national average. Some of our local school districts in Fresno County are doing a phenomenal job. Our Clovis Unified School District has a teen parent program where they fully fund it out of their general fund, and they have a 99% graduation rate, which is awesome. So there is a great correlation between girls that continue to stay in traditional high school settings, and it's also a benefit for their children because their children get that early care and education and that safe environment as well. So they're ready for kindergarten.
Now, the Fresno County Office of Education, you serve the whole county of Fresno, and there are different school districts in the county. Do you go to certain ones only, or do you go all over the county?
We only go to specific locations. Our locations are with Clovis Unified, but we also serve a foster agency that has a group home for level 12 girls, and level 12 would be either probation status or CPS, and they're usually considered high risk. And it's a group home, so we service them. And we also serve a West Care facility that is for transitional living for homeless women between the ages of 15 and 21.
Teen pregnancy, usually when people talk about it or think about it, they think about low-income areas, uneducated parents, tough conditions, neighborhoods in tough areas. Is it happening all over? I mean, are we seeing this in more affluent areas as well?
Absolutely. Teen pregnancy is not immune to your social economic status. However, there is a huge correlation between poverty and low income and our teen pregnancy rates. And primarily that has to do with lack of resources, lack of education, all the things that come in combination with poverty.
Are the fathers around? I mean, we're talking about teen pregnancy, and a lot of times there are programs for mothers.
Right.
But there's a whole different piece here in that the fathers, are they around, or are you seeing that they're disappearing?
Well, you know what? I think we are doing a phenomenal job in Fresno County. The EOC just received a huge grant last year, and they have their POPS program, which is proving our parenting skills, and it's primarily just for young men. And I think now we're really trying to have that push to support our fathers. A lot of them do leave, and so we've supported the mother. But our program is open to males. We serve males as well, because we know the importance of fathers being in their children's life. And so we're trying to help young men who often come from single parent homes. So a lot of them want to be a part of their children's life, they just don't know how to be. So we're trying to help them have those skills, and also, and you know, relationship dynamics between teenagers gets very complicated. And so, you know, part of what we do is helping teenagers, especially when they have children, have healthy relationships that are conducive of a nurturing and loving environment for their children, whether they're with the child's father or not.
Are you finding that the teens that are pregnant, whether it's male or female, are they embarrassed at this? I mean, are they openly, proudly saying, you know, a child, this is my child?
I don't think that there's so much as saying I'm proud. I'm sure there are some that, you know, maybe it doesn't resonate. I can say by my own experience, I was a 16-year-old mom. I had my son, and throughout the whole pregnancy, I was pregnant. It actually didn't hit me that I was having a baby until I was in the labor room, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a mom. So I think for teenagers, sometimes they can say it with pride, but then when you ask them later, it's not that they regret their children, but I think that they understand the hardships of the situation. And so we're there not to you know, congratulate them or you know, to celebrate, but we're also realize that that is a child, and we're going to support them in their process of raising their children.
You were actually a teen mother yourself. Talk about how that felt when the baby was actually, you know, there and delivered. Did life get harder for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. It was shocking for me. I had already moved out of my home from my parents, and so I was living with, you know, my son's father, and I'm 16 and he's 18, and it was very isolating. I watched all my friends go, you know, to junior and senior prom, and it wasn't like you know, I don't know what I expected, but it was very, very hard. I had 3 children by that time I was 21, so yeah, it was very difficult. And I think for teenagers, what happens is all that, you don't get to emotionally develop yourself, and so you're still trying to develop who you are at the same time raise a child, and so you kind of get lost in transition, and so it's very difficult. And that's where we come in as far as family structures, where we see where students really struggle. I had a wonderful, supportive, emotionally supportive family that I knew how to love and to be compassionate and to nurture and to keep my baby safe, and I knew what to do when I got frustrated, and I had good parents and role models. Most of our kids don't. And that's where we find that parenting becomes very, very difficult, and that became part of my personal passion, was to help parents kind of search within themselves to find strength, but then to be better parents.
Talk about your family. Did they think that this would happen to them? I mean, were they surprised?
Not. I mean, but they were devastated. I don't even think that my father could look at me. I think I remember having to tell him, and the shame that I felt growing up in a very Christian conservative home, you know, and my mom's like, you're gonna have to tell your father. I couldn't even look at him in his face, the shame, you know. But they supported me, emotionally supported me, and you know, but it was very difficult for my family, very difficult. But once the baby's there, you know, everybody loves babies. I mean, who doesn't love children? So I mean, my family, of course, you know, just totally adore. And you know, my dad, of course, they were concerned. We all have dreams for our children. We want our children to be better than us, and I'm sure it was devastating for my parents to realize or to believe that their dreams for me were diminished. And you know, so it was nice. I think in 2009, I was able to call my dad and say, hey, can I stay with you so I can go get my MBA? I was graduating from school. So all the things, I mean, I always say I took the hard road. It's doable, but it was difficult.
You had a supportive family. You had a strong family, it sounds like. just from your experience and the way you're telling us here in the studio, how many people don't have that? The clients that you're seeing, the teen pregnant individuals right now, do they have that?
No. And that's where it becomes so difficult, because we have some of our teens that are in under the umbrella of social services, and they have, of course, a set item of expectations that they expect these teen parents to display. And I'm always very vocal about, we cannot expect them to be something that they've never seen before. So we can't expect them to be nurturing and loving and protective, and yet nobody has nurtured and protected them. And if they've lived in 25 different foster homes, they're gonna have some attachment issues. And we're not saying that they can't parent, but we're saying that it's important that we have to emotionally support them, not just as parents, but still as children, as teenagers. So I think a good chunk of the work that we do is mentoring, being what we want them to be. We have to be that to them. And understanding that most of them don't come from good homes and great conditions. And so we want to break the cycle, but we also want to be supportive of them.
Talk about if society has changed. I mean, you know, when I was growing up, when we saw someone who was a teenager and who was pregnant and they were single, it was like, oh, wow,
Right.
you know, it was like society kind of isolated them. Is that still the case now?
I don't think so as much. I think that we still ostracize and we condemn them. And I think it's one of those situations where you don't want to be overly, congratulations, you're 15 and pregnant, that's you can celebrate. I mean, but at the same time, shaming them is not going to help them be successful. But, there's a lot of television shows that have somewhat, I don't want to say I don't think their intent was to glamorize teen pregnancy. But to me, it just highlighted that they're teenagers, right, and they're works in progress, and they're not done developing, and they're going to make horrific decisions. And to have that, all out in the air, it's a false message to kids. And any teen parent that I've worked with that you could talk to is going to say life is hard. Life is hard.
A lot of times when we see teenage parents, specifically teenage mothers, we all of a sudden assume that they're not going to make it in life, they're going to be nobodies. You've experienced it, and I'm impressed with you. It sounds like you've done well with your life. So what advice would you give people who all of a sudden are going to say, oh, there's a teenage mother, she's not going to get anywhere, or there's a teenage father, he's never going to get an education?
My response to that would be, if you see them and you are in the position to mentor them, then you should. Instead of making an assumption about them, we should be supporting them, because it does cost us taxpayers' money. It costs Fresno County $47 million a year.
$47 million.
That's
incredible.
That's it. But the societal costs are over $130 million when we talk about the struggles that children of teen parents go through. So I try to take the approach at, if it was your child, we all have obstacles, but their education is something that we should invest in, and they're a 2-student population. If we as educators create a rift between that teenage mom and the education system, she will not trust us to educate her child, who will be back in our system in 5 years. If she is unable to read or unable to get her high school diploma, or if she's been pushed out of school, the possibility of her getting a job is going to be very little, and therefore she will continue that cycle of poverty. There's a direct correlation between CPS incidences and a mother's education level. So when you look at what should we be investing in, we need to invest in families, and we need to strengthen families, whether they be a teen mother or a teen father. They're a family, there are children there, and we need to support them. We're not glamorizing them, and because it's hard. It's hard on them, and until you walk in their shoes. I went to a graduation today, and there was, they had like 100 kids that have graduated through the CalEarn program, and there were 20 kids today that they honored, and it's a difficult task to go to high school with children.
And Do we support them enough as a community? I mean, you're with the Office of Education, but does the city and county and different nonprofits help?
Yes, I would say that Fresno County, we run our collaborative every month where we have agencies that come together, and our intent in coming together was what is out in the community we need to identify so that we can make sure that if I can't offer this type of service, who can? And so we've really identified, like 30 or 40 different programs that will serve teens and teen parents at some capacity, both male and female, and we all kind of band together. So if I have a male that I can no longer serve, I'm going to send him over to the POPS program or to AFLP, which is the Adolescent Family Life Program by the county. Our Fresno County has, I feel so privileged to work in that group with them because they are always identifying new ways, new things that we can do to make sure that we're supporting these teens. And we're talking a caseload of about 1,000 teenagers on our caseload at the county.
That is a lot of
That
teenagers.
is a lot of teenagers.
Do you find, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
okay.
You can go ahead with that train of thought.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying that there's a lot. So I mean, you take 1,000 and their children, that's a 2,000 population. And those are just the ones that are under the umbrella of social services. There are many that are not, and we still need to support them.
So as far as the parents who are teenagers, on the outside, do you find that they put a different face than on the inside?
Yes.
I mean, looking back at my teenage days, when I was a teenager, I was macho and I
Right.
tried to be a tough guy.
Right.
And, there were times where even if I did bad, I felt, like I wanted to show that I was doing good.
Right.
But then you isolate me and it's like, why did I do that? Are you
Right.
finding that? And talk about your experience with that.
Absolutely. I think I have a lot of girls who are, because you get involved in something, you have a child, and it's not, even you can be the strongest person. And I don't care if you're 15 or you're 30, becoming a parent is a huge, huge task. And people that think that they're all prepared emotionally, we're all zombies if we don't get sleep, and we're not eating right, we're not sleeping right. So I think that our teenagers, especially the ones that I serve, I would say are extremely broken. And they're broken because of their home lives, because of the circumstances that they've had to grow up in. And I think we need to be honest with ourselves that broken parents were once broken children. And if we don't fix that or help them fix that brokenness, the cycle just continues. And so I think a lot of them on the outside will, wear that armor that I'm fine and everything's good, and then you get them away and they will cry and they sob because life is hard. I mean, I've had one client who's 17 years old with 2 children. She got pregnant at 14. She was forced to, go live somewhere else, deliver by herself, and no emotional support, and being completely overwhelmed is so hard. And on the outside, her exterior, she's a beautiful young woman, but inside she's broken.
Talk about the financial barriers or the financial difficulties, because my wife and I have no kids so far, and we try to save money, and sometimes you can't save money. And I have a decent job, and she
Right.
works as well. So when you think about teenage mothers, a lot of them are unemployed or underemployed. How tough is it financially for them, and have we set up systems to help them as a community?
I don't think that we've done a great job. I think 30% of teenage mothers by the age of 24 will have never worked before and don't even have the job skills. When we're trying to get them to go through high school, and you have at 15 years old, you kind of lose the things that you would gain through college and through high school. Some of those things, you get them later. And so I think it's really important. And we're trying to teach them self-sufficiency. When we talk about the cycles of poverty, if we have a family that has never ever worked or has been on the system for a long period of time, telling them you need to go get a job when nobody has ever worked before is foreign to them. And so trying to teach what self-sufficiency is, trying to help them understand how important it is, and understanding when you understand the opportunities that lie ahead of you if you finish your education and you go to college. But they struggle immensely because they don't, if you don't finish high school, the job market it's a beast
very
right
good.
now. Like you
Not
can
very
have a
good.
master's degree and struggle to get a job. And so what we have found and you look at all the research and the studies of women that are the stress factors, and primarily it's young women, young minority women who struggle the most because of either lack of education, their opportunities. They don't have the opportunities to get jobs, and then the jobs that they do get are minimum wage. And
Right.
you and I both know that's difficult. And then your hours, you don't have standard hours, and then you throw childcare in there. Childcare is a monster. So there's all these barriers that prevent them from being able to get out and be successful.
Parents, the parent of the teen parent, what advice would you give them? You have a unique perspective, and I love that you're in this role at the Fresno County Office of Education, because you've been there, you've done that, and now it's your chance to give back. You had parents that were conservative. What advice would you give to other parents out there who feel like it's a shame on their family, who feel like, this can't be happening to them? Because, there are some cultures out there that without marriage, if you have a child,
Right.
It's bad.
Absolutely, absolutely. The greatest gift that my parents gave me was the expectation of education. I was horrendously sick with morning sickness, and I can remember crying, telling my mom, like, I can't go to school. And my mom she's the sweetest person ever, and she just put her arm around me and she said, welcome to motherhood. You're going to school. Women go to school and work all the time with morning sickness, and you will go to school. And I'm like, I can't throw up in the bathroom, I can't throw. She's like, I don't care where you throw up, but your education is an expectation. And so at the time, of course I was resentful because I was 16. Now, she gave me the greatest gift. I was expected. And so we have the expectation they need to finish school. And my mom gave me the full responsibility of raising a child. I think sometimes parents try to overstep, and of course, if there's a concern that they don't have the capacity, but I had to learn all on my own to be a mom. I didn't get days off. The first time I was without my son, he was 13 months old. I had him every single day, every single night. There was, my mom was like, we love you, we love the baby, but you're a mother. So I would say I think there's a mourning process for parents to have to go through. Like I said, you're sad because you look at the dreams and expectations you've had for your children and they seem diminished. I think if you can be supportive. I'm just saying, just be supportive.
We live in a conservative area. Fresno County is known as this conservative stronghold. And,
Absolutely.
And I have friends and family members, and sometimes myself included, think, I'm paying too many taxes. Convince me why we should care about, continuing to help families or teen parents or families that need, the benefits that
Right.
our system provides them.
Well, if you take from a societal approach, like I said, it costs over $130 million in taxpayers' numbers for just societal costs. If we can support teen parents into being self-sufficient, getting their education, being active, parents involved in their children and supporting them in their parenting skills, we can diminish some of those issues that we face later. And when you talk about money, 90% of kids that are incarcerated, are incarcerated youth throughout the state, are products of teen parents.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So
and
90%.
90%. And 75% of those are from single mothers. So when you look at, should we be supporting these children and these mothers and fathers? Absolutely, because it costs $9,000 a year to educate them, but it costs $250,000 to incarcerate them. And this is our youth. So when you talk about where's your bang for your buck, invest in families while they're young and support them at an earlier stage, because the cost to not only to our society, but to that family who is in, we know the statistics when they're incarcerated that they will probably be more likely to be incarcerated as adults. It's something that we need to take back, and it does take a village to raise a child, and we have to look at it. I try to look at everything that I do, that it's not my child, it's not their child, it's our child. And what can we do to support them and their road to self-sufficiency and their success? And I think sometimes we need to peel away ourselves and our own conservative approaches of why they're pregnant or why our stereotypes, and realize that most of these young people are looking for love and affection and acceptance, and they get involved in relationships or they make decisions because they think that they will have love and acceptance. And so really, when you get down to everything, it's a lot of broken young people making decisions that impact them for the rest of their life. And I don't think that, you know, are there going to be those rare ones that get pregnant on purpose? Yeah. But for the most part, it's just not, it's just that teenage brain that just says, you know, this feels good, let's do this, and not think about the consequences later.
We're running out of time this week on the program, but you're hitting something that I want you to briefly cover. A lot of times in your experience, you've answered it a little bit, but I want you to go a little bit more in detail with the limited time that we have. Is this on purpose? Are these kids doing this on purpose to work the system, as there's a thought out there?
No, I can't believe that, because when you think about how much they get, it's $490 a month.
$490.
$490 a month. We're not paying them, they're not getting $3,000 a month. They're $490 a month. You and I couldn't live off of $490 a month. So no, I don't think that it's there to work the system. I think it is absolutely lack of education. It is lack of resources, and a lot of it is low self-esteem.
How can people find out more information about the great things going on at the County Office of Education? How can they get a hold of you?
We have our Fresno County Office of Ed, and we're fully funded through First Five, so you can look us up through either one of those websites, which would be first5fresno.org, or Fresno County Office of Ed, which is fcoe.org. And you can contact us through our website and get more information about our programs.
So thank you to First Five. You're fully funded with
yes.
First Five. That's all for this edition of San Joaquin Spotlight. My name is Sevag Tateosian. Today we talked to Kayla Wilson. She's with the Fresno County Office of Education, the Teen Parent Support Program. Thank you for coming. Thank you. The studio is buzzing with a volunteer crew, so thank you to our volunteer crew that made this production possible, to our friends at 90.7 KFSR Fresno, to CMAC Fresno. Thank you for watching and listening. Tune in next week for a new edition.
Say you